Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 150th Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. Just before I announce the teams, I would just like to say, when we first started our Brotherhood YouTube battle channel, I don't think any of us ever thought we'd get to 150 battles. I remember thinking at the time, maybe 30 or 40 battles, and then people, might start getting a bit bored with watching them. But thanks to all of you who seem to still enjoy watching our battles and still like watching them. It's proved so popular that that's why we've got to the 150th. We always try and put on our best games for you to watch, and we hope that you still kind of enjoy them as much as you ever did. For this 150th, I tried to find quite an exciting battle with a few twists and turns in it, and I think with this battle this will be a good 150th for us, and I hope you enjoy watching it. The team I'm in today consists of Brotherhood member Steve Longshanks, who has bought the Rome Julii faction, and then we have a Brotherhood member Mystique, who has also bought the Rome Julii faction. And then we have a Brotherhood member Killer B. He's got a Litz on the front of his name, and if you remember, that's a very old clan right from the very beginning of Rome Total War that he kind of seems to try to keep alive by putting that on the front of his name, but it is Brotherhood member Killer B. And then myself, Spartan Commander, who has bought the Carthage faction. So there's our team there. I think you'd agree, full of experienced players. But you wait till you see the other team. They're a great group of players there, and when you see the players in the other team, I think you'll agree this has got the ingredients to possibly be a classic battle, and I hope you enjoy it. At this stage of the battle, I thought we'd have a look at this very old Carthage army of mine. When I built this army, it was solely to take on the Greek cities armies here. So if you notice, there's about 15 good pike units, and I think I've got about 4 Balearic slingers there as well. If you notice, there's no cavalry at all in this army. I think when I built it, it was just with the purpose of taking the Greek cities armies on head on. I'd just like to say, if you notice how far that I have deployed back here, and that's because one of the members on the other team is got a reputation for being extremely aggressive and attacking right from the beginning of the battle there. If you notice, my allies brought his cavalry right over as well to assist me, so we were expecting to be attacked right from the beginning of the game here. As we said in other battle videos, it's good to attack and be aggressive, as it keeps the enemy team on the back foot and kind of makes them dance to your tune. But if you're always aggressive, if you always attack, you run the risk of becoming predictable, and we are expecting an early attack right from the beginning of the battle here, and it'll be interesting to see if we're right. You should enjoy this battle, it should be a good one. And here is the other team. We have Titan's Beast, who has bought the Rome SBQR faction. Then we have Greek's Cleomenes, who has also bought the Rome SBQR faction. And then we have RTW player Hannibal Barca, who has bought the Greek Cities faction. And then we have TNG Odin. As you may now know, Odin is in the Titans clan now, but when this battle was fought approximately 6 or 7 months ago, he was in the TNG clan. So there's the enemy team there. Looks pretty good. Let's have a quick look at the Greek cities army here. As you can see, Hannibal Barca has split his Greek cities army into 3 mini armies here, probably with a view of being able to put each one of those armies in with his allies to kind of strengthen their battle line there. So it'll be interesting to see how those 3 mini armies do against our team there. And just to say that when this battle was fought, these 4 played together quite a lot, and veterans listening to this will understand what I say, what I mean when I say that if you play together a lot, you kind of get a bit of an edge to your game. The team gels, and you kind of get used to each other's gameplay, and you can become quite a formidable team just through playing together a lot. Our team, we kind of mostly play just on weekends now, mostly Fridays and Saturdays. So we may have lost that edge that we once had. So it'd be interesting to see how this battle goes. As I say, it's got the ingredients to be an absolute classic. And as I say, we're expecting an attack very early on, as the battle has just basically started here. As you can see here, as we predicted, one of the players on the other team is extremely aggressive and attacking right from the very start of the battle here. And what I think he'd like to do is bring his cavalry over here and charge into the rear or the flank of my running pikemen, or if he could, he'd like to try and take out my Balearic slingers. That's why I've deployed so far back there, so it makes it a little bit more difficult for him to get across, as we were expecting this aggressive attack right from the beginning of the game here. If you notice, my ally killer has brought his Julii cavalry across. As I say, we were expecting this, so that's why he's positioned his cavalry well there to cover my my troops that are moving over to the centre there. If you notice, Killer's keeping his cavalry quite close to my pikemen, so that if he is attacked, he knows I can always throw a couple of my pikemen into the melee. Of course, with their pikes down, so I don't kill friendly cavalry, but he knows that I'll be there to support him as he is supporting me. As I say, new players watching this, team battles are all about teamwork, and you watch where you're needed, and you send reinforcements over to help. As you can see there, the enemy SBQR cavalry is getting quite close to the rear of my pikemen. Charging into the back of pikemen is always a bit of you know, you'd always like to do that if you could. And is he going to charge into the back of my pikemen there? And yes, he did. Bang! But if you notice, I was ready, and I turned my pikemen round immediately there to chase off that cavalry. As I say, he got so close there, I was expecting him to hit, and he did, and I turned my pikemen there to face him. I think I lost about 4 men there, and I think, if I remember right, he's lost about something like about 18 men out of that cavalry unit. So if you're ready for these type of attacks, you can repay them with in kind, if you like. But if you're not, then he probably would have caused me quite a few casualties there. Remember, pike units' weak spots are in the rear and the flank there, and so probably if I wasn't ready for that, I would have lost a few more men there. Here's an overall view of the battle picture so far. As we said earlier, we think the Greek city's general there has split his mini armies up. I'm just going to pause the game here for us to take stock of the situation. As say here, you can see the Greek city's general has moved his 3 armies about there to help his allies strengthen their lines, and to probably with a thought of attacking as well there. Over on our left flank here, can you see that Killer's left flank there is a bit exposed to being hit by a cavalry charge there? And if you notice, the enemy have spotted this and are charging in a cavalry attack into Killer's left flank there. If you notice, Steve Longshanks running his army over as fast as he can to support that left flank. Let's see what happens next. As you can see there, the enemy cavalry charging into the flank of Killer's infantry there. As Steve Longshanks moving his infantry over to that left flank there. You see the SBQR general here on the left, as I said, extremely aggressive attacking move there. And as we said before, attacking is good. It keeps the enemy on the back foot, makes them react to you. So it's good to attack, but if you always attack, as I said before, you can become a bit predictable, and your enemies will know what you're going to do. And that old saying, forewarned is forearmed, really comes into mind then. As you can see, Steve Longshanks moving his Julii army over there then to engage the enemy SBQR army there on our left. A lot of enemy cavalry and infantry out here on the left as Steve moves across. As you see Steve moving over to here to the left, can you see that his right flank is a little bit exposed to those SBQR enemy troops there? Killer spotted it and is bringing his Julii army over to try and cover that flank of Steve's there. See that SBQR cavalry going and bang, as that cavalry hits. If you notice, Steve does a counter-attack with his cavalry. If you notice here that Killer's bringing his Julii cavalry in as well, also to counter-attack. But if you notice that the enemy SBQR infantry is also charging in there on Steve's right flank, if you notice there. So that is one heck of a tussle going in there on the left flank. There's so much action going on the left here. This could be a pivotal part of the battlefield. I think whatever happens here on the left might dictate what happens in the rest of the battle there. Let's just pause the game for a second. There's lots of action going on both flanks here, so I'm trying to pause the game a few times just to let you see what's actually happening here. As you can see here on the left flank, there's a lot of aggressive action going on there by the enemy SBQR army. And in this left centre as well, you can see that. The right centre seems to be a little bit quieter there. If you notice, the Greek cities have moved over an army there to support their Brutii ally. And as you can see, there's a force of Greek cities attacking our Julii ally there as well. If you notice, I'm starting to break my army up as well. I'm sending units from my army to actually counter those Greek city mini armies, as well as I'm going to chase that main army here on our right flank. Try and get a showdown head on, if you like, with them. If you can see, Mystique is moving units over to the pressure point of the battlefield. Remember what we said, being a good team player, you see where the pressure is on the battlefield, and if you've got available troops, you send them over to help on the pressure point. All about teamwork here. If you notice, I've sent my Balearic slingers over as well. They're firing slingshots into the enemy as fast as they can. If you notice the SBQR cavalry here moving around to our left here, they probably have got a view to try and take out my slingers. But if you notice that Mystique's infantry coming over there has covered my slingers there. So nice little tactical move there by Mystique. Right, can you see the SBQR cavalry charging into the left flank of Steve's engaged infantry there? Now that could cost him quite a few troops there as that cavalry charges in. And bang! As that cavalry hits. If you notice over to the right there, can you see the enemy Brutii cavalry charging in as well? They're going to charge into the flank of Steve as well there, as that cavalry hits. I think these flank attacks by the enemy cavalry is causing our allies' infantry a heck of a lot of casualties here. Right, can you see a lot of our allies' Julii infantry are now routing. We're just going to pause the game here for us to take stock of the situation. Right, well basically our left flank there has just been severely smashed by a massive cavalry and infantry attack there. And by the looks of it, things are looking pretty bad here. As I said, I thought that this left flank might be the pivotal part of the battlefield here. And it looks like we've kind of almost lost that left flank, I think. It looks pretty bad for us there. Now we're up against 4 really good players here, so bearing in mind that we've just lost basically our left flank, what do you think we should do? Maybe admit defeat, and get back to the lobby and rehost a rematch, or do you think we should just carry on fighting? What do you think you would do in this situation? Bearing in mind we're up against 4 really good players and we've just lost our left flank. We'll just have to see there. As you can see, the Greek cities general, as we saw earlier, split his army up into 3 mini armies, and they're attacking as well. If you notice, I've got Carthage. I've broken my Carthage army up and made 2 smaller armies as well that I've got to actually face them. But if you notice, I'm also chasing the main Greek cities army here with my main Carthage army here, just trying to see if I can get, if you like, a showdown head on with those Greek city units. So there's an overall picture of the battlefield there. I'm afraid it's not looking very good for the Brotherhood team at the moment. Do we decide to admit defeat? No. We're just going to carry on fighting. So let's see what actually happens here. As you can see, Mystique's got those units there, repositioning those units now to counter any more attacks that's coming in from there. As you can see, there's a heck of a lot of our Julii units there routing, leaving the battlefield. As I say, there's so much going on in the battlefield all the time here. It's difficult to be able to show you all the action. I'm trying to go from one flank to the other here, just so you can see as much as you can of the battle here. As you can see here, I've moved my Carthage army out here to try and take that Greek city's little force on there, head on. So there's an overall picture of the battlefield. There's some more Brutii, enemy Brutii cavalry charging into our Julii ally there on that left flank, and as that cavalry hits, and bang! It's a lot of cavalry charge bonus just gone in there. Also, you can see the SPQR cavalry charging in here as well. Let's just pause the game again just for us to take stock of what's going on here. As you can see, there's a lot of real aggressive attacking going in on our left flank here. We can see lots of our allies units starting to rout here. And the left centre is still looking pretty good. As you can see, the enemy Brutii infantry there could break through there maybe. Seems to be a bit of a gap. And meanwhile, over on our right and right centre here, you can see that the enemy Greek cities are facing us. If you notice here, I've got some Carthage unit in behind the Greek cities general. Now if you look carefully, you'll see the Greek cities general is on this flank that I've actually attacked. Now I spotted that. Now I know the Spartan units have got excellent morale, but if you kill their general, it's still going to lower their morale a bit. So that's what I'm going for there. I'm going to try and kill that Spartan general there on that flank there. And if you notice, I got the rest of my force in behind that Greek cities general, fighting the Greek cities units that are behind him as well there. Meanwhile, over on our left flank here, you can see our Julii allies charging his cavalry there. Let's say it's a real tussle here on the left flank. Let's say the enemy are attacking here very aggressively here. Right, have you seen there that I've just taken out the Greek cities general? So that bit of a tactical move there has done quite well. That's just what I want to do, take out that Greek cities general. As I say, the Spartans have got excellent morale, but if you do kill their general, it is going to lower their morale a bit, so that's all good in our favour there. If you can see now, Mystique is charging cavalry into the back of those Greek city units there that I'm engaging with my Carthage Sacred Band army. Nice little hit there by Mystique. As you can see all the way along the battle line here, you can see the Greek cities are fighting, and you can see that I've got my Carthage Sacred Band engaged with them as well. Now just remember that the enemy team are the green Brutii and the SPQR purple here. Just if you just look at the battlefield at a glance, you can see that. Right, can you see that the SPQR general has just been killed, and straight away, as we've seen in other battle videos, as soon as he got killed, the morale of his remaining troops dropped and a lot of his units started to rout. Meanwhile, over here on the right, can you see that the Greek cities force that I was just facing there is now routed? So now I'm being able to move my Carthage Sacred Band from right over to left centre here now, or over to the right centre here now, to try and help my allies out. Let's say that there's so much action going on all over the battlefield, trying to get all the action for you is kind of really difficult because it's on from one flank to the other. There's a general overview of the actual battle at the moment. Remember, the greens, the purple and the Greek cities are the enemy team. The Julii and the Carthage army is our team here. So, as I say, maybe new players watching this, just as you glance at the battlefield, you'll be able to tell by what colour, what unit is exactly what's happening here. As you can see, I'm bringing my Carthage army over here to engage the enemy troops. I'm moving from right to left here. And if you notice now, the enemy are bringing over infantry units now to engage my Sacred Band's pikemen now, as they've spotted the danger of me moving over from right to left with a view to try and roll their line up there. Let's say with pike units, they do remind me of steamrollers, very slow moving forward, but they kind of go over everything, and that's what that Carthage Sacred Band is trying to do there. If you notice here, there's still enemy Brutii infantry here that our Julii ally is trying to take out there. And still, can you see here that I think it's Cleo is moving his SPQR army out of the centre over to the left flank. I guess he just spotted the danger of And maybe my Sacred Band moving across there. And he's bringing his SPQ army out of the fray of the centre there, so that he'd be able to move them to maybe a pressure point where he sees there's a pressure point. If you notice now, if you notice earlier, it was mostly our allies' Julia units you were seeing starting to rout. But if you look closely now, you'll see it's a lot of SPQR and Brutii infantry starting to rout now. You notice I got a small army of Sacred Band pikemen that are moving forward there, trying to help my allies out. Is moving forward to try and take out those enemy Brutii units that are still left there fighting. If you notice over on the right here, do you see that we saw Cleo pull his infantry out of the main battle line, but he's brought it over here to our right here, spotting my Carthage Sacred Band moving forward, and he's coming over as a blocking force there to stop them moving down behind his engaged allies' infantry there. If you notice there, I've taken the pikes up of that unit there on the right with a view to moving around in behind the enemy troops there. But I think their morale was already low of the enemy troops. They were pretty battle damaged, so they seem to have, most of them seem to have kind of routed there in that position. And there's the enemy Brutii general has just been killed, so the morale of all his troops would just drop now. And it looks like our Brotherhood team has managed to go on and won this battle here. As I said, if you remember right back at the beginning of the battle there, where we basically lost our left flank, and maybe some of us might have been thinking about, well, should we admit defeat and then go back to the lobby and rehost a rematch? But no, we carried on fighting there, and we seem to have done quite well there. As you can see, the battlefield is really spread out. You can see there's dead from one side to the other, and that's what made this battle kind of difficult for me to show on here, because I want to show you the action, obviously, of everything that's going on. But with so much action going on all over the battlefield, it was quite difficult. Well, the first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. There were some great moves, great tactical moves, really massive cavalry hits, and really aggressive gameplay right from the very beginning of the battle. But as I said earlier, if somebody is always aggressive, if they always attack, and you know they're going to do that, they can run the risk of becoming predictable. And then the enemy force knows what that person's going to do and can prepare for it. So, as I say, being aggressive, being attacking is good, but try and mix your tactics up a little bit. Maybe a bit defensive now and again to try and keep the enemy guessing what you're going to do. I'd just like to say, I thought the team I was in played extremely well there. Steve Longshanks, Mystique and Killer. Absolutely great teamwork all round there, and some really good moves by them. And as I said, the enemy team played extremely well as well. And nice kills from Mystique. I hope you enjoyed our 150th battle, and look forward to seeing you soon. Spartan Commander saying bye for now.